before both would ultimately be replaced by Darth Vader. Darth Sidious had two of the most powerful Sith apprentices that have ever lived. Darth Maul, the Night Brother, taken as an infant and trained by the Dark Lord of the Sith as a true Sith assassin, and by the time period of the Phantom Menace, a Sith assassin that was capable of taking on Jedi Council members and coming out on top, clearly combatively on the level of any Jedi Master, with the exception of the greats such as Yoda and Mace Windu. And Dooku, the fallen Jedi Master, offered a seat on the council numerous times, an individual who Yoda called one of the greatest and most powerful Jedi that have ever lived, corrupted by the darkness and the prospects of power and influence. Both of these Sith Lords, irrefutably some of the best duelists and most terrifying force wielders of their entire era, only rivaled by the upper echelons, the Chosen Ones, the Grand Masters, and the Dark Lord himself. But similar to our video on Mace Windu and Yoda several days ago, we do have a definitive answer which of these two Dark Lords was more powerful and terrifying to come against in combat, and today we will answer that question. First though, let's take a look at each of these Sith Lords individually and their combative accolades. Let us begin with Darth Maul, the Sith assassin. In the early stages of his training, being personally tutored by Darth Sidious himself relentlessly, Darth Maul proved to be a very talented lightsaber duelist, quickly becoming capable enough to impress even Darth Plagueis with his abilities. By the time Maul had become a true apprentice of Sidious, he was incredibly skilled in lightsaber combat, among the greatest duelists in the history of the Sith according to his master, capable of massacring dozens of enemies and overpowering the most seasoned Jedi Masters. At age 17, he came incredibly close to besting Sidious during his test on the planet of Hypori, despite a long month of starvation, fatigue, and pain, while Sidious was in peak condition upon arrival of their duel. By 32 BBY, Sidious sincerely viewed his apprentice's combat skills as being unmatched by any Jedi. Once he had been rehabilitated, Maul's fighting ability appeared to have been undiminished, besting Obi-Wan Kenobi and putting his brother Savage Opress in his place with as much discipline as he could muster at the time. With his training focusing intensively on learning the Juya variant of Form 7 from Sidious, Maul's inner aggression served to amplify his use of the form. He applied it in any duel and battle that he fought in, drawing heavily on volatile emotions of the dark side to gain the ability to overwhelm a single opponent with sheer tenacity. However, while he was already very proficient in Juya and being a lightsaber specialist good at utilizing his force powers together with his acrobatic fighting style to allow for more free flowing within a fight, his use of the style was hampered by his great devotion to Form 7's physical focus, desiring a purely physical victory over all of his opponents, rather than using the higher Sith tradition of Dun Mok tactic. However, by the time of the Clone Wars, Maul had fully outgrown and mastered Form 7 to its completion, which made him able to overwhelm even the defenses of a Jedi of Surisu such as Kenobi in many of their different altercations with one another. Even while still faithfully desiring a victory purely from superior skill, Maul had achieved Dun Mok as he separated Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn on Naboo, silently taunting the Jedi Master, preying on the Padawan's sense of helplessness, and feeding off of Kenobi's anger. In order to grasp Juya, Maul would naturally have had to have mastered many other forms of lightsaber combat. He had superb skills in Naiman, the sixth form of combat, allowing him to skillfully incorporate his force powers into his dueling style, whereas Jedi Master Sindralig believed that at least a decade of study would be required to master Form 6 alone. Maul did not seriously begin his lightsaber training until he was 15, which would suggest that he wielded Naiman as well as Juya at an astonishing rate, more proficient than even the Chosen One. He had also shown a proficiency with Form 4 combat Ataru, the form favored by Master Yoda and Ahsoka Tano. This fighting style, along with incorporating Naiman, would enable Maul to overcome multiple opponents, as displayed many times throughout his life. In addition to all of this, Maul had also received a level of training in Makashi, the form favored by Dooku exclusively, noting his elegance and precision of movements. When fighting multiple opponents, Maul extended the second blade of his lightsaber to form a saber staff, displaying superb skill with the weapon, as most of the era's Jedi had never faced such a lightsaber in combat before, or a practitioner skilled in its use such as Maul. With all of this said though, the great power of Darth Maul was not one that could never be conquered, with Obi-Wan Kenobi defeating Maul several times because of the Sith Lord's overemphasis on absolutely dominating an opponent rather than simply winning an engagement. It wasn't enough for Maul simply to win a fight. Before his opponent was dead, he wanted them to know that he was so far superior to them, and it was because of this that on multiple occasions he has been bested. This is also something that unfortunately Maul has not learned from, to when he first dueled his rival Obi-Wan Kenobi on Naboo, to when he would later confront the fallen Jedi Ahsoka Tano on Mandalore. Both times, Maul was the superior combatant, but both times he was ultimately defeated, once by a Padawan and once by a failed knight. Although again, here we're discussing Ahsoka Tano and Obi-Wan Kenobi, two of the most powerful Force wielders that have ever lived in Star Wars, and even more impressive lightsaber duelists in their own right. Do not get it mixed up though. Darth Maul is far and away one of the greatest lightsaber duelists that have ever existed in Star Wars. At the age of 15, he was more skilled in blade-to-blade combat than the majority of the Jedi Council, and Maul is only ever defeated by Tier 1 or close to Tier 1 combatant. Now that we've discussed the Dathomirian Night Brother, let us discuss the fallen Jedi Master, a member of the Lost 20, in Dooku, Darth Tyrannus. Dooku was an extremely skilled and vastly experienced lightsaber duelist. Before his resignation, Dooku was known as one of the most skilled duelists and lightsaber instructors in the Jedi Order. He was the Jedi Temple's most agile swordsman and instructor, and apart from Yoda himself, Dooku's skills were so great that he was even known for having once bested Master Windu in a sparring session, a Jedi acclaimed for his natural skill with the blade, a feat that only Yoda was also able to achieve. And during the time of the Confederacy crisis, it was said that only Windu would have been his equal, and only Yoda surpassed him on neutral ground. However, Dooku's skills might have surpassed Windu due to Dooku having held his own against both Windu and Kenobi for quite some time, and even defeated him once, although he used the Force and had help from his Magna Guards. It still should not be understated that Dooku has defeated Windu before, more than once. Dooku's dueling skills even proved enough to strike both fear in Sidious, his master, Darth Plagueis, who regarded Dooku as a rival and a possible threat, suggesting his skills even surpassed that of Sidious. Dooku only continued to further hone his lightsaber combat skills after becoming Darth Tyrannus, at Sidious's encouragement. Before the Clone Wars, Tyrannus made short work of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, and stood up against the immeasurable power of Yoda, who even praised Tyrannus for fighting well, but he proved unable to effectively match his former master, and was forced to retreat. Dooku killed many Jedi during his reign, even highly skilled ones that outnumbered, and in most of his altercations with the likes of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, despite their own improvements, Dooku proved to be able to take them both on at once. Though styles like Form 1 and 3 and even 5 were more practical in the age of blasters, Dooku's competitive spirit drove him towards the second form of lightsaber combat, Makashi, which he exclusively used in blade-to-blade combat, believing that duelists who devoted themselves to the study of multiple combat forms would never attain the same level of mastery as ones who devoted themselves to a single style. In addition, he appreciated the lack of acrobatics that the style possessed, and was fairly disdainful of combat styles that utilized extensive acrobatics like Ataru and even Juya. In many ways, if Maul was a hammer in a lightsaber duel, Dooku was a true sword, precise, elegant, quick, and never an individual to miss an opening. Now, let us finally reveal which of the two of them were more skilled, according to an individual who fought them both, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Count Dooku's fall has troubled us all, Obi-Wan acknowledged. Now we have a great and a powerful enemy. His thoughts turned to his battle with Dooku. He had never met such a power in battle before. He had never come up against something that had completely overpowered him. Even meeting the Sith Lord who had killed Qui-Gon had not been the same. If only Qui-Gon were alive to give them insights into Dooku. Now, Obi-Wan thought back and wondered why Qui-Gon had never spoken of his master. He would never know that either. Dooku is an individual that has bested Obi-Wan in lightsaber combat time and time again, even with the help of Anakin Skywalker. And Obi-Wan is an individual that has bested Maul. The teachers of Darth Maul considered Dooku to be their superior in some cases. Darth Maul is an upper echelon fighter, but Dooku is the fighter. If Dooku ever dueled Ahsoka Tano, even at the time of Mandalore one-on-one, he would absolutely systematically dismantle her. If he were to duel a Padawan Obi-Wan Kenobi, the duel would last mere seconds, and Dooku would not hesitate to deliver the killing blow. I believe it's clear which of these two were more powerful. Again though, I would love to hear your thoughts on this, and what do you think of the rivalry between Maul and Dooku? Which of the two do you believe would come out on top? Thank you guys so much for watching.